A cop walks up to your window, shines a flashlight in your face, and asks you one question. One question. And in the next 10 seconds, depending on how you answer, you go from a law-abiding gun owner to a suspect facing felony charges. That question is, do you have a gun in the car? And the terrifying truth is that almost nobody in America knows how to answer it correctly. Not because they are criminals, not because they are hiding something, but because nobody ever taught them what their rights actually look like in practice on the side of a dark road with blue and red lights flashing in the mirror. And what I am about to tell you in the next 8 minutes could be the most important legal information you receive all year. Stay with me through every single word because all of it matters. Before we go further, subscribe to Gun Guide Pro right now and turn on every single notification. We are a new channel building something genuinely important here. Plain language legal coverage of the real situations that affect gun owners every single day. Every subscriber tells us this content matters and gives us the motivation to keep going and bring you even better coverage. 2 seconds. Completely free. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell. Let's get into the question that could change your life. Picture this. Tuesday night, you are driving home from work. Maybe a late dinner. You are not speeding excessively. You are not impaired. You are not doing anything wrong. But maybe one of your tail lights burned out last week. Maybe you rolled through a stop sign because you were tired. You see the lights in your mirror. That stomach drop feeling. That immediate mental inventory. You pull over. You do everything right. Dome light on, hands visible on the steering wheel. License ready. Registration in the glove box. Calm and cooperative. A model citizen in every way. You also have a legally owned firearm. A valid concealed carry permit you paid for, trained for, and waited weeks to receive. You take this seriously. You are not a threat. You are exactly the kind of responsible gun owner that every Second Amendment advocate points to. Then the officer leans in and asks, "Do you have any weapons in the vehicle?" And just like that, the entire dynamic of that stop shifts. Because that question is not casual conversation. That question is a legal instrument, designed, whether the individual officer knows it or not, to get you to either incriminate yourself or consent to a search. Those are the two outcomes law enforcement is trained to produce from that single moment. And you standing there in good faith have no idea you are walking into a trap. Drop your state in the comments right now. I want to know exactly where Gun Guide Pro viewers are watching from and whether duty to inform laws apply where you live. I personally read and respond to every single comment on this channel. Most people think they have exactly 2 options. Tell the truth or lie. That is it. That is the whole menu. And both of those options, as most people execute them, are catastrophic mistakes. Option 1, lying. You panic and say, "No officer, no weapons." You figure it ends there. You get your ticket and go home. Here is what you just did. In many jurisdictions, lying to a law enforcement officer is a crime. It does not matter that your gun was legally owned and legally stored. The moment you made a false statement to a uniformed officer, you crossed a legal line. And if that officer then develops probable cause to search your vehicle and finds that gun, you are no longer dealing with a minor traffic violation. You are facing potential obstruction charges, false statement charges, and your legally stored firearm can suddenly become evidence in a case against you. A prosecutor will stand in front of a jury and say, when law enforcement asked this person a direct question, they looked that officer in the eye and lied. That is how innocent people end up with records. Lying is out. Option 2, unrestricted honesty. You think, I am a good person, I have nothing to hide, I will just be honest. You say, yes sir, I have a firearm, I have a permit, it is in my glove compartment. You think you have done everything right, but here is what you actually did. You just told a trained law enforcement officer there is a weapon in the vehicle. The stop immediately escalates into what their training categorizes as an armed encounter. The officer's entire posture changes. They may ask you to step out. They may place you in handcuffs, not because you are under arrest, but for what they call officer safety. They will ask to secure the firearm. They will run the serial number. They will start asking follow-up questions. Where are you coming from? Where are you going? Do you have any other weapons? Every single answer you volunteer is raw material for an investigation that never needed to happen. You tried to be cooperative and walked yourself directly into a constitutional nightmare. So, if lying is a crime and volunteering everything is an uncontrollable escalation, what does the law actually give you? Which politician in your state do you think has done the most damage to gun owner rights during police encounters? Name them in the comments right now. I want to see who this community holds accountable. The answer is sitting right there in the United States Constitution. 2 amendments, 2 shields. Most people have heard of both, and almost nobody knows how to actually use them on the side of a road. The 4th Amendment protects you from unreasonable searches and seizures. An officer cannot search your vehicle without either a warrant or probable cause, a legally specific reason to believe you have committed or are about to commit a crime. Here is the critical piece most people miss. A search is almost always legally reasonable if you give consent. If the officer says, "Can I search your car?" and you say yes, you just signed away your 4th Amendment right with one word. It does not matter what they find. You gave permission. The constitutional protection evaporates instantly. You are legally allowed to say no. Saying no is not an admission of guilt. It is an exercise of the rights this country promises you. The 5th Amendment gives you the right to remain silent. Everyone knows that phrase from television, but almost everyone thinks it only applies to serious crime arrests. That is dangerously wrong. Your right to remain silent applies anytime you are being questioned by law enforcement. Period. You are not required to hand the government a case against yourself. And here is what the system does not want you to fully internalize. Your silence cannot be used against you in court. A prosecutor cannot tell a jury this person must be guilty because they refuse to answer questions. That is constitutionally prohibited. Your silence proves nothing. Your silence is your right. The question, "Do you have a gun in the car?" is specifically engineered to get you to surrender both of these rights simultaneously. It sounds like casual conversation. Most people answer it without realizing what they are doing. Here are the exact words that keep you protected, keep you honest, keep you legal, and give a prosecutor absolutely nothing to work with. 2 steps. That is it. Step 1. When the officer asks, "Do you have a gun in the car?" look him in the eye, stay completely calm, and say clearly, "Officer, I don't consent to any searches." Notice what that sentence does. You have not said yes. You have not said no. You have not lied. You have not admitted to anything. You have not been rude or combative. You have used precise, legally recognized language to invoke your 4th Amendment right. That sentence tells the officer everything he needs to know. That you know your rights, that you are not going to be pressured into a consent search, and that any further investigation requires actual legal justification. It stops the entire fishing expedition in its tracks. The officer will probably push back. They are trained to push back. They may try the classic line, "If you have nothing to hide, why won't you let me search?" Do not take that bait. Do not argue. Do not explain yourself. You do not owe anyone an explanation for exercising a constitutional right. Step 2, immediately follow up with, "Am I being detained or am I free to go?" This question forces legal clarity. If the officer says you are free to go, thank him, roll up your window, and leave. You won. If the officer says you are being detained, the situation has formally changed. He has now legally asserted reasonable suspicion of criminal activity. Your response is clear and calm. "Officer, I am exercising my right to remain silent and I would like to speak to a lawyer." Then stop talking entirely. Do not explain. Do not justify. The conversation is over. You have built a constitutional wall around yourself. What is your honest answer? If a police officer asked you that question right now at a traffic stop, do you feel confident you know exactly what to say? Type "confident" or "needed this" in the comments. I want to see where this community actually stands. Now, here is where it gets more complicated, and where even educated, careful gun owners get destroyed. Duty to inform laws require, not suggest, not recommend, require that you proactively tell a law enforcement officer that you have a firearm during any official encounter. In states with these laws, silence is not protected. Silence is a crime. If an officer pulls you over in Ohio, Michigan, Texas, or several other states and you have a firearm in that vehicle, you are legally obligated to inform that officer proactively, not when asked. Before they ask, the moment the encounter begins. Failure to comply is a criminal offense. It can mean arrest, losing your carry permit, and a record that follows you for the rest of your life. Not because you did anything violent, but because you did not know the law in that specific state. If you are in a duty to inform state, the moment the officer engages with you before anything else, you say calmly and clearly, "Officer, I want you to know that I am a permit holder and I have a firearm on me." Then stop. You have fulfilled the legal requirement. You have stated a fact. You have not given permission for anything. You have not invited a search. If the officer then asks to see the weapon or wants to hold it during the stop, you revert immediately to the original script. "Officer, I don't consent to any searches. Am I being detained or am I free to go?" Your duty was to inform, not to surrender, not to consent. In states without duty to inform laws, Florida, Georgia, Virginia, and others, you have zero legal obligation to volunteer information about a firearm unless directly asked a specific question. In these states, keeping quiet is not just your right. It is smart legal strategy. The problem is that millions of Americans carry firearms and travel through multiple states without ever learning where those legal lines are. They assume the rules are the same everywhere. They are not even close. And that assumption has put innocent, licensed, responsible gun owners in jail. Not because they were criminals, because they did not know. Step back for a moment, because this is bigger than one question at one traffic stop. This is about a fundamental power imbalance between ordinary Americans and a legal system that is staggeringly complex, inconsistently applied, and often completely indifferent to whether innocent people get caught in its gears. A person who has done nothing wrong, who purchased a firearm legally, trained responsibly, obtained their permit, and stored their weapon exactly as the law requires, can have their life upended by a single uninformed answer to a single question on the side of a road. Not because of malice, not because of corruption in every case, but because the system creates conditions where the informed and the uninformed are not treated equally. We live in a country where we tell people they have rights. We print those rights on documents. We teach them in schools. We invoke them in political speeches. And then we build a legal apparatus so complicated, so filled with state-by-state nuance and technical landmines, that actually exercising those rights requires either a law degree or very specific preparation that most people simply never receive. That is not freedom. That is the illusion of freedom. And the gap between those two things is exactly where innocent people get destroyed. Gun Guide Pro exists to close that gap, to put this information in front of gun owners in plain language before they need it, not after something has already gone horribly wrong. We are a new channel, and every single subscriber who joins this community is investing in a resource that will be here every time a situation like this comes up, and it will come up. What is your favorite Second Amendment ruling or constitutional protection that you wish more gun owners actually understood and used? Drop it in the comments. I genuinely want to know what this community values most. Here is what you need to walk away knowing cold. The question, do you have a gun in the car, is a legal instrument designed to get you to incriminate yourself or consent to a search. Lying is a crime. Unrestricted volunteering is an uncontrollable escalation. The correct response uses 2 sentences and 2 constitutional amendments working together. "Officer, I don't consent to any searches," followed immediately by, "Am I being detained or am I free to go?" If you are in a duty to inform state, you inform proactively and immediately with one clear factual statement, then revert to the same script. And if you are detained and questioned further, I am exercising my right to remain silent and I would like to speak to a lawyer, then absolute silence. You have built a constitutional wall, nothing the prosecutor can use. Nothing that turns a Tuesday night traffic stop into the worst moment of your life. Memorize those sentences tonight, right now, before you put this video on and drive anywhere. Because the best time to learn your rights was before you ever needed them. The second best time is right now. Here is what you do immediately. First, subscribe to Gun Guide Pro and hit that notification bell right now. We are a new channel, and every single subscriber gives us the motivation and resources to keep producing this level of content for you. The legal landscape for gun owners is shifting fast, and you need to know every development the second it happens. Second, smash that like button and share this video with every gun owner you know who carries in a vehicle. The person who needs this most is the one who has never thought about what happens when that flashlight hits their window. Third, answer all 3 questions in the comments right now. What state are you watching from? And do duty to inform laws apply where you live? Which politician in your state has done the most damage to gun owner rights during police encounters? And which Second Amendment ruling or constitutional protection do you wish more gun owners actually knew how to use? I personally read and respond to every single comment on this channel. Gun Guide Pro is just getting started. The legal information coming over the next 12 months will matter enormously to every gun owner in America. Be here for every single piece of it. Stay informed, stay armed, stay free. I'm Michael from Gun Guide Pro. See you in the next one.